A very good morning to class 11th and class 12th students of political science. And students, welcome back to the online classes here. But today, before I start my topic here, I would like to give you certain important instructions, precautions and guidelines regarding COVID-19 virus. And these instructions have been given to you again and again, but this is a reminder for you. As you know it very well, now we are into unlock 5 stage, and so now we need to be more careful and more aware so that we can fight against this virus as we have been doing it from the last 6 or 7 months. So as we are into this lockdown now, so it has become very important for us to follow all the important instructions which are being given to you. Although these are important for me also, for you also, your family, friends, and you should also spread awareness regarding the important instructions and guidelines, or we can say the precautions which I am sharing. You can share it with your friends and family as well. So it is very important for us now, as we are opening up the schools for class 12th, and very soon we will be opening for class 11th as well. So it would be very important to keep these instructions in your mind and make it your habit and bring it into your daily practice, I would say. And so I'm sharing some of the important things here, so you need to hear it properly. As you can see it from here, COVID-19 appropriate behavior. That what should be the appropriate behavior to fight against this COVID-19. So here are some instructions, and you know them very well, but this is very important for you. As we know, we have to give you the reminders so that you keep understanding it, you keep it in your mind every time. So wear mask. This is very simple and basic. You know it that we have to wear mask, but it becomes very important that you have to wear this mask properly. No one is going to come and check you. It is not a formality. This is for your precaution, for your good health, for your good health of your family, your loving ones. So you need to wear the mask properly, in which you have to cover your mouth as well as your nose properly all the time. Okay. Follow physical distancing. It means social distancing, physical distancing. You have to maintain the distance of at least 6 feet from your friends, from any person when you are going to the market. As recently we have seen with lockdown 5, this is a festive season, we can say. You can say so much of rush in the market, and people are not taking precautions as they were doing it previously. Initially they were doing it, but as we have seen now, people are becoming bit we can say lenient towards these important guidelines to be followed. Then next thing is maintain hand hygiene. This is very important. Whenever you're going outside, when you're coming to your home, you must wash your hands properly with soap, sanitize your hands properly. Okay, when you are coming back from any place, and before eating you should sanitize your hands properly. So these are some of the repeated instructions which I will be sharing. Wear mask properly, and I hope you understand the meaning of properly. Properly means you have to cover your nose and mouth. Remember it. Do not remove it when you are traveling, when you are talking to someone. Always cover your mouth and nose. Stay at least 6 feet from the others, especially when you will be coming back to the school. It would be very important that you don't have to come in physical contact with your class teachers, with your teacher or anyone. You have to maintain a distance of at least 6 feet, and arrangements have been made in the school in such a way that we all will be following these instructions very strictly, because these are the instructions. If we follow it, we will have the good classes, and you will have the good experience in the school where we will have good classes. So but for that you need to keep these things in mind. And next you can see, you know these instructions, but it's a reminder for you. Wash your hands frequently, sanitize it again and again whenever you are touching the notebooks, tables. Basically avoid touching any of the things or any people coming in contact with anything. But still, if you are coming, you have to sanitize your hands, or you have to wash your hand with soap properly at least 20 seconds. It means 20 seconds are enough if you have to wash your hands properly. Remember to not touch your face. Yes, whenever you are outside, you are buying, you are in the market, you are in the school, you are doing anything, you don't have to touch your face with your hands. Although you might have sanitized your hand, still avoid touching your face. Face in the sense, you don't have to touch your eyes, you don't have to touch your nose, your mouth. That is, before eating you have to wash your hands properly. So these are some of the very important and basic instructions, and which are very important to fight against this virus. Do not share food or drinks with others. Although these are the general instructions for everyone, but whenever you are in the school also or and outside also, you don't have to share food with your friends or any drinks or any eatables with anyone. Okay, so these are some of the basic important instructions which you have to follow in the school or outside the school. Make it a habit, bring it into your daily life, so you will be able to manage all the instructions properly. Also spread awareness to your friends, family, and all your loving ones. So with this I come to end of these important instructions for you. I hope you will follow these instructions, although it is all important for me also and for everyone. So we will all together follow it. So with this I come to end of this instruction part. Now I will be starting for the topic for the day. Okay, thank you so much. A very good morning to all the students of class 11th political science. And students, we were doing the third chapter of our book Political Theory, that is the second book of your syllabus. And we were into the third chapter and we had finished 3 parts, and in the last part we had discussed about natural and social inequalities. So with considering those that topic very important, we shall continue the today's topic, that is a part 4 of the third chapter, that is 3 dimensions of equality. When we are reading this topic, 3 dimensions of equality, it means we are going to deeply study all the spheres and all the dimensions of equality to see the real and exact meaning of equality and what type of equality is desirable in our society for egalitarian society, we can say, where everyone is treated equally. And when we use the term equally or equality, it doesn't mean that everyone will have the same wealth, same property, same professional jobs and like that, like social status. It means that everyone will have the equal opportunities to develop themselves, to use their skills, talents. Okay, so when we are studying these 3 dimensions of equality, that will be political, social and economic dimensions of equality, we shall also be keeping in our mind which we have studied in the last video, that is natural and social inequalities. So let's start this topic from here. After considering what kind of social differences are unacceptable, we need to take what are the differences, the different dimensions of equality that we may pursue to seek to achieve in society. You can understand from here, after considering what kind of social differences. So in the last video we have seen what type of social differences are unacceptable. If we are talking about social differences, means those differences, those inequalities which are created in the society not by birth. In natural inequalities, we know those are the inequalities given by birth, that are the capabilities, capacities, skills which we are born with. Okay, but these social differences are created in the society. These differences are created in the societies. So we were considering that which of these inequalities are unacceptable. We need, but along with it, we have seen that which are unacceptable. We know that discrimination based on caste, color, language, birth, these are the differences which society has created are unacceptable. But along with it, we need to ask what are the different dimensions of equality, what are the dimensions of equality that may pursue to seek to achieve in a society. So what are the different dimensions we should be talking about in relation to equality, so that we can achieve a egalitarian type of a society, while identifying different kinds of inequalities that exist in the society. So when we were identifying what are the different kinds of inequalities in terms of social differences between people that exist in our society, various political thinkers and ideologies have highlighted 3 main dimensions of equality. So these scholars have highlighted mainly 3 type of inequalities. Those are political equality, social and economic. So these 3 are the most important 3 dimensions of equality. So if you want to have a equal society, egalitarian society where everyone is treated equal, we need to find the political equality, social equality and economic equality. In the same way, if we are unable to form these inequalities, we will have political inequalities, social inequalities, economic inequalities. So we will not be able to find a just and equal society. It is only by addressing each of these three different dimensions of equality can we move towards a measure. If you want to have a more just and equal society, we need to have these type of political, social and economic equality in our society. So, but for today's lecture, I shall be taking only this. This is the first dimensions of equality, if I say political equality. So in this today's lecture, we'll try to understand only what do we understand by political equality and why it is so important. So let's first of all find the meaning of political equality. In a democratic societies like India, political equality would normally include granting equal citizenship to all the members of the state. If I am saying that all the citizens in India have the equal citizenship, it means we have given certain basic rights to each and every citizen of our country, okay, in terms of political equality. And this citizenship we shall be taking in detail in a chapter, that is citizenship. Equal citizenship brings with it certain basic rights. If we talk about the equal citizenship will for all the citizens of a democratic country, especially if we can talk about India, there are basic rights such as right to vote, freedom of expression where we can express our thoughts and views freely, movement, we can move anywhere we want in that within the territory of our country, we can form associations or groups, freedom of belief, you can have a belief faith on any of the religions. So you have all the basic freedoms as which have been given to you by the constitution as a citizen of India. So this comes under the political equality. These are rights which are considered necessary to enable citizens to develop themselves and participate in the affairs of the state. And these basic rights have been given to each and every individual and citizen of India, where with the help of these basic rights, each individual can develop and grow and improve the potential which they have. They can groom their skills, talents and capabilities which they have. Without, like if we do not have freedom of expression, movement, association, freedom of belief, so we will not be able to groom and develop ourselves, although we have the potential. But if we don't get these basic rights as a citizen of our country, we would face lot of challenges. And also like right to vote, this gives us a clear-cut participation in the functioning of our government, where we can show our consent by giving a vote to a particular government. So we have different ideologies, we can follow our own ideologies and we can make our own decisions in the formation of the government. So these are some of the important political equality and basic rights which are given to each and every citizen. But the question arises here, everything is written down in the constitution, whether fundamental rights, all rights were about equality, freedom, but why then we are studying this topic is still in this political theory? Because this equality does not exist as it is written down in the constitution. There are a lot of differences, so we are going to find out why there are differences when it's given, these rights are given to each and every citizen. So why there are so much of political inequalities, social inequalities and economic inequalities, or overall we can say why there are so many inequalities in our society among the various groups and the various or individuals in our society. So that's why it's written here. But they are legal rights. If you talk about these citizenship rights we had discussed here, these are legal rights. These are guaranteed by the constitution and law. We know that considerable inequality can exist even in countries which, but there will be always inequalities. In any society, you go to any country, there will be inequalities because there are different type of people, different social groups, backward groups, people living in the remote areas, so they are not able to use the or they do not have the resources and opportunities to use these legal rights. So that is why it's written, but they are legal rights guaranteed by the constitution and laws. We know that considerable inequalities can exist even in countries which grant equal rights to all citizens. These inequalities are often the result of differences in the resources. So what are all inequalities we see in the society? That are the social inequalities based on caste, language, opportunities. Okay, so these type of inequalities are there in the society because of the differences in the resources and opportunities. When I'm saying resources and opportunities, some students go to the very good schools, boarding schools, private schools, but some of the students do not have the opportunity to even go to schools. They do not have books, they do not have any school nearby their homes, because they are living in such an area where there are no facilities for education, for job opportunities, or they, if they have the potential, they don't have the opportunities to groom their capabilities and their skills. So this is we call by shortages of resources and opportunities, which lead to inequalities. So of course there will be inequality. There is a region where all the resources and opportunities are are available to the people living in those areas. On the other hand, there are many regions in our country where those are remote areas where we do not have resources and opportunities, where people can use those legal rights which have been provided to them, and because of it there will be inequalities among the people in our country, in our society. So because of the lack of resources and opportunities which are available to citizens in social and economic spheres. So there is a difference between the resources and opportunities which citizens have in our society, okay, in social and economic spheres. For this reason, our demand is often made for equal opportunities. So it always there is a demand. We cannot say that everyone will be equal, everyone will have equal wealth, equal social status, equal job opportunities, equal jobs. But what we can do, what the government can do, government can always try to find solution that they should have a provision where everyone gets the equal opportunities, or for level playing field. Here means if someone has the skill, capacity, and he can try and find to improve his skills, and he can come out of the poverty and he can improve his status. So there should be an opportunities where people can change their inequalities and be can have a high status in the society. And we have seen many people who were poor, who were under poverty line, but with their skills and talent and their hard work, they have changed the life of their families even. So this is the work of the government, where they can provide such type of opportunities and chances to the people who really require such opportunities. Although they have the talent, but they lack some important resources and opportunities to be a part of the society. But we should remember that although political and legal rights equality by itself may not be sufficient to build a just and egalitarian society. So if we talk about that we want to build a just and egalitarian society where every person is treated equally and there is no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, language, so it only political and legal equality is not important. We are here studying about political equality, that is giving basic important rights to the citizens, which is very important for them. So it is not alone political right which will work for our society to be just and egalitarian, but certainly this political theory is one of the most important component when we talk about the dimensions of equality. Although if we talk about complete equality, we shall be studying 3 dimensions. Political equality we have read here. In the next video we shall be taking social equality and then economic equality. So all these 3 dimensions of equality can lead a society into a just and egalitarian society, but each of them have its own importance, because without political theory, social equality and economic equality would be meaningless, on the same vice versa. Okay, so I hope you must have tried to understand what I'm trying to explain you here. So in the next video we shall be taking social equality. You need to read your NCERT books, you will be able to understand. Thank you so much.